Okay.
Okay, Gitanjali, the stage is yours.
Shall we start?
Yeah, you can start.
Yes, please start.
All right, sure. Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. I am Rotarian Anandi Viswanathan, past president of Rotary Bangalore Abilities and part of the International Services Committee at District 3190. I extend a warm welcome to all our guests present here, both from India as well as from Ghana, who have gathered here to celebrate the International Youth Day 2021. The UN theme for this year's International Youth Day is transforming food systems, youth innovations to transform the human and planetary health. Swami Vivekananda said in a famous quote that knowledge is like a fire within a flintstone. It is there within each flintstone, and knowledge is the friction that will bring it out. We have with us today an eminent youth icon, Mr. Prasoon Gupta, who has been in the field of food innovation and who will be talking to us about food, yoga, and youth. To take this forward, I call upon Rotarian Nagaraj, immediate past president of Rotary Bangalore Abilities, to render an invocation.
Good evening, everybody. I am Rotarian Nagaraj, immediate past president of Rotary Bangalore Abilities. I will be rendering a song of Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, to get blessings to all of us. Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinayaka, Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinayaka, He Shubha Mangaladayaka, Vidya Buddhi Pradayaka, He Shubha Mangaladayaka, Vidya Buddhi Pradayaka, Gajavadana, Gauri Nandana, Gajavadana, Gauri Nandana, Gangadhara Shiva Shambho Shankara, Gangadhara Shiva Shambho Shankara, Gajanana Shubhanana, Gajanana Shubhanana, Gajanana Shubhanana, Gajanana Shubhanana, Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinayaka, He Shubha Mangaladayaka, Vidya Buddhi Pradayaka. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Nagaraj, for that beautiful rendition. I now welcome our President, Arvind Adliguppe, President of Rotary Bangalore Abilities, to give the welcome address.
Good evening, everyone. Today, we are celebrating International Youth Day. The International Youth Day was started in 1999 by United Nations. The International Youth Day is celebrated to bring awareness about the socio-economic problems and socio-political problems facing by the youth all around the world. The theme for year 2021 is transforming food systems. So on this occasion, for this wonderful stage, I would like to invite the chief guest, Mr. Prasoon Gupta, co-founder and chief food yogi to Satwiko. A warm welcome to Prasoon Gupta, sir. And I would also like to invite District International Services Directors, Rotarian Asian Murthy and the Rotarian Dr. Milind Deshpande, And also I would like to invite my co-presidents, President Rotarian KM K. Rao from Rotary Bangalore Abhigere, President Rotarian Abhilekha from Rotary Bangalore Yelahanka, and President Rotarian Subir Dar from Rotary eConnect, Rotary E-Club of eConnect. And also I would like to welcome President Rotarian Sarvan Kumar from Rotary Club of Obuasi, District 1902. And I would also like to welcome Mr. Eben Rotractor from Rotary Club of Obuasi, Rotary Club 1902. So on this occasion, I would like to say a few words about Rotary Bangalore Abilities. Rotary Bangalore Abilities is the unique club in the Rotary history. The specialty of this club is most of the members of this club is differently abled persons. This club was started by the oldest club in Bangalore, Rotary Club of Bangalore. The GSR for this club is Rotarian Zarir Barta, and this club was started in the year 2018. And the charter president for this club is Justin Phillips. We have done many projects in these 3 years. Out of that, our flagship project is IDPD. IDPD means International Day for Persons with Disabilities. So every year, we all know that every year December 3rd is celebrated as World Disabled Day. On this occasion, we honor the special achievers among persons with disabilities who has done tremendous performance in their professional life. So this project has becoming bigger and bigger every year. In the year 2020, we honored 9 members. In the year 2019, we are able to raise more than 3.5 lakh fund for the awardees. And in the year 2020, more than 40 clubs are partnered for this great event. It is the record in the history of Rotary. And I would also like to invite international clubs for this year 2021 when we celebrate the same event on December 3rd, 2021. The other main projects of Rotary Bangalore Abilities are tree plantation, organ donation, and flag training, which has got Vocational Service Award for the 2020-2021. And Global Accessibility Awareness Day, we wanted to bring awareness on accessibility in all aspects like website and building accessibility also. This is our dream project. And these are all a few of the main projects of Rotary Bangalore Abilities. So once again, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, Rotarians, aunts, annettes, and friends of Rotary, friends in Rotary. A warm welcome to each and everyone. And I thank everyone for joining this wonderful meeting. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Anandi, for giving me this opportunity. Over to Anandi.
Thank you, Rotarian Arvind. I would now like to invite Rotarian Geetanjali Dhar, Secretary of Rotary E-Club of eConnect, to say a few words about her club.
Thank you so much, Anandi, and wonderful to be with amongst you, attending this very important day. I bring in apologies from my president as he has some urgent work, so he could not join. Just to brief about our club, we got chartered last year We will be completing a year on 17th of August this year. And as on today, we are a total of 32 members. The good things about our club is that we are a virtual club and we have members from all over India and abroad. We have two of our members already in this meeting attending. Mr. Ishwar, Rotarian Ishwar is from US, and of course we have Shalini, who's from Bangalore. Our flagship projects have been starting with the Education for Better Tomorrow, wherein we try to onboard students, needy students who are in financial distress. And I invite all of you, because we are going to have a musical fundraiser for the same. And this is a wonderful opportunity to get together and have a fundraiser. Other projects are Reach to Lead, and we are also creating a biodiversity park. Apart from that, the regular community services that we are offering. I also take this opportunity to welcome all of our Rotarians, respected Rotarians from Ghana, and we look forward to having going forward and having collaboration and projects together. We are very happy to have been partnered and having a sister club now. Welcome the Rotarians from Rotary Club of Kumasi East, and we are looking forward to the signing of the sister club agreement. And I also like to give thanks to Shankar Shastriji, our chair for international services, for giving us this opportunity to be part of this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Geetanjali. I would now like to welcome Rotarian Abhilekha, President of Rotary Bangalore Yelahanka, to speak about her club.
Yeah, thank you for giving the opportunity to introduce our club. And as a current president, it is an honor to introduce our club, which is 17-year-old and which is situated in the northern part of Bangalore, India. And currently we have a membership of around 37 members. And we have done several projects in the field of literacy, health, environment, and rural economic development. We have carried out several matching grants and global grant projects, especially for literacy and numeracy, dialysis machines, comfort stations in public schools, pediatric heart surgeries, rainwater harvesting, vocational training centers, and micro enterprises in India. And also we have, as a global grant, we have done an athletic track for a school in USA as well, and also a school scholarship project in Australia. So it's an honor to be here, and we are excited to have this sister club agreement with the club in Ghana. And I'm looking forward for a wonderful time and wonderful with the clubs in Ghana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rotarian Abhilekha. I would now like to invite President. And I'd like to invite Rotarian K.N.K. Rao, President of Rotary Bangalore Abhigede, to introduce his club.
Anandi madam, I think he will join soon. He's finding some difficulty. You move over. Lastly, you call him.
Oh, sure, sir. Okay.
Thank
so now, moving on, I would like to invite Rotarian Sarvan Kumar, President of Rotary Club of Obuasi, to introduce his club.
Thank you, PP. Thanks for the opportunity to introduce our club to you. My name is Sarvan Kumar. I represent Rotary Club Obuasi in Ghana, District 9102. I must correct my fellow RP. It's not 1902. Our district is 9102, please. Thank you. Our major projects at club has been water and sanitation. Since our inspection of 3 years ago, we were chartered. Our charter president is here with me, Mr. Mumin, IPP Mumin. He's also IPP. He was forced to continue for some reason. So he's chartered IPP and PP. Mr. Mumin is here he's also here in this form. And we also have, we do a lot in youth empowerment. and water sanitation. We are working on a major project, which is a global grant, under which we are serving quite a few communities around us, providing them boreholes. Over 19 boreholes are being provided with mechanism giving them pure water to drink. That's been a challenge in and around Obuasi, in the rural areas, and giving them toilet facilities, which are over 60 toilets are being built up in various communities. This is our major one. And we are also focusing on health. Our current project, which is going on, is coming to be a neonatal ICU. In Obuasi, we are lacking a facility, which gives us challenge when it comes to the new baby borns. And we are looking forward to Rotary Club of Abilities to partner with, which is coming to be a sister club very soon. On Sunday, we must commence, and more opportunities. It's our pleasure to share this platform today. Our Rotractors are also here. I must recognize our club project chair, Rotarian Abbas, is also here on this platform, and many more Rotractors and Rotarians will be joining soon. It will be great time having you all. And thanks for giving us this opportunity to joining today and sharing some experience with you, the Rotarians and Rotractors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rotarian Savan Kumar. I'd now like to invite Rotractor Ibn from the Rotract Club of Obuasi to introduce his club.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Rotarians and Retractors on the call, and then good afternoon to my Rotarians and Retractors in Ghana. Rotract Club of Obuasi, it's a very young club. It started its formation on the 14th of February, 2021. And then we received our charter certificate from RI on the 25th of June, 2021. So that's barely 4 months after formation, we received our charter certificate. Rotary Club of Obuasi is our sponsor club. And then since the class formation, we've done several projects, though our existence has not been that long. We've done donation of COVID relief items to schools in and around Obuasi. We've contributed to tree planting exercises. We've also embarked on a sickle cell awareness program. And then currently, we are looking forward to rolling out a huge charter project, which has a focus on sanitation in public schools. The Rotary Club of Obuasi has an active membership of 20 with varied classification, which spans around engineering, administration, accounting, health, and several other backgrounds. We also have students among us. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this event. We are looking forward to building lasting connections with our sister club in India. I'm also looking forward to working with other Rotary clubs as well to see how best we can connect and then serve to change lives. Thank you very much once again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rotractor Ibn. Is Rotarian KMK Rao here?
Yeah, Anandi Madam, Tejashwar from Abhigere will represent KMK Rao.
Sure,
KMK
sir.
Rao is also there. Welcome to President KMK Rao.
All right. Sure.
Hi, ma'am. This is Tejashwar Reddy from Rotary Abhigere. President will be joining a bit while. He's a bit busy in something. Our club is started from past 6 months as a charter club. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Tejeshwar. I would now like to, moving on into the program, I would now like to invite the International Service Director of Rotary Bangalore Abilities, Rotarian Priya, to introduce our chief guest.
You can unmute yourself.
I think she's not able to do it. Can you do it, Anandi madam? Can you
Yeah.
unmute her? Or
Yeah.
Gitanjali madam?
I
Yeah.
don't, I think Gitanjali ma'am, Gitanjali.
She's struggling to unmute. He's not able.
Yeah. 1 second. I think that host, this thing is with Arvind ji.
Justin or Arvind?
Yeah, Justin or Arvind can do. Yeah.
Arvind sir, please unmute Priya madam.
ಪ್ರಿಯಾ ಅನ್ಮಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
No, not it.
ಇಲ್ವಾ?
Please spotlight her. Can she unmute herself?
Only she can unmute herself, I think. We can't.
Yeah.
Okay, Priya, you can speak now.
No, it's
No,
Yeah,
no,
she
not
can.
it.
not yet.
Still
Not yet. It's
muted.
not unmute.
Yeah, now it's unmuted.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Please.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
Please go ahead, Priya.
Thank you, Anandi. I consider it my special privilege to introduce our special chief guest, Mr. Prasoon Gupta, on this very special day of International Youth Day. Mr. Prasoon Gupta, co-founder and chief food yogi at Satvik, Delhi. Mr. Prasoon Gupta is a BTech civil engineer from the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Roorkee. He is also having the educational experience with Standard Seed Transformation Program from IIT Roorkee. His vast experience, Mr. Prasoon Gupta is a co-founder and CEO, founder of Samro, co-founder and CEO of TechBuddy Consulting. He is also a speaker at the TDX. We are very proud to have you, sir. Mr. Prasoon Gupta is a mentor at the Stanford Seed Spark. He is also a founder and trustee of the Swaraj Niti at mervote.in. So we are very, very proud to have you on this very special occasion. On behalf of the entire Rotary family, Rotary Bangalore, along with all its joint partnering clubs, is very happy to extend a warm welcome to you on this very special day of International Youth Day. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyaji. Thank you so much. So I hope I can share my thoughts and I'm allowed to speak, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go
Okay.
ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much, everyone, Anandi ma'am and everyone else to actually give me this opportunity of sharing my thoughts, some stories that I would like to share on the International Youth Day with all of you here. I'm actually extra privileged because, most of us who are actually here right now on the call, we have actually been through journey of the youth. And I think youth never dies, youth is always there inside us. So I think at whatever age we are in our life, I think we are eligible most of the time to celebrate the International Youth Day. So today, I would like to share some stories, 3 stories. 3 of them are actually around food, yoga, and youth. So why food, yoga, and youth? I think that I'm going to be telling you at the end of these 3 stories. These are some short stories, but at the end of the stories, you will realize why the theme of the today's session that I thought would be perfect was food, yoga, and youth. There is some disturbance which is there at the end. There's some bell that actually, I don't know why.
Can we spotlight Mr. Can we spotlight Prasoon?
Yeah.
Gitanjali, can we spotlight Prasoon?
Yes.
Because
Wonderful.
yeah, he can be, presenting them.
He got muted. Please unmute him.
Yeah, somebody has muted him. I think Arvindji, you can
Am I
unmute.
audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you are audible, but
Prashanji, actually, I think when they created this thing, I think when any new member joins, that this will happen. That is to indicate them that there is some participant.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So, yeah.
No, I was just not sure what that voice was.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I think continuing to what I was saying, I'll give you a little brief about who I am and where I come from before I move to the story. So basically, I was born and brought up in a beautiful city, which is called Udaipur. Udaipur is a city of lakes, and I believe a lot of you would have visited Udaipur multiple times. So I was kind of fortunate to grow in this beautiful city, and I grew up like in a middle class family where my mom was a teacher and my father used to work for a company there. And I have an elder sister. She is now based in the US, and I have a younger brother. I also have a wife, and I have a 8-month-old daughter. And we are actually based out of Udaipur, Delhi, and the US. A lot of our business actually is based out of the US, so we spend some time actually in the US. So the first story that I would like to actually share with you is about a person. We can actually call this person, let's suppose, Ram. So imagine, there is a person called Ram, and this story is about him. So Ram was actually born 35 years back at a place in India, and he had a very beautiful childhood where he grew with a lot of the friends around him, and he had very good food to eat. He had very good education that he got, and he also got a chance to travel across because of the exposure that he got because of traveling. He was also able to kind of grow his interests beyond just the regular schooling, and he was actually interested in multiple other hobbies. He had interest, and one of the major interests that he had at that point of time was that he loved cooking actually. So when I say he loved cooking, he was a part of a middle class family, and in a middle class family, most of the time, the mom and the father both are working. And in Ram's case also, both mom and the dad, they used to work. So when the food was cooked, at his home, he ensured that he was present there, and he used to kind of help his mom, and he used to actually understand what his mom was doing. And most of the time, he was a very curious kind of child. Throughout his childhood, he was extremely inquisitive, and he was very outgoing as well. He had a good network of friends, and he used to score decent marks in the school. He was always among the top 5. Plus, he had a passion in sports. So this story of Ram actually is the story of any Indian middle class youth. It could be a boy or a girl, but generally, most of us who are born in this country, in this beautiful country called India, we have had childhoods where we have seen both of our parents working. I'm not just saying that they are going office to the job for the job or everything, but I think most of the time your mom was working either for the house, or she was actually going out to work. Even our father, used to travel a lot because most of the time the means of travel were not fast enough. So if there was anything that he was supposed to attend, which was not in the city, he would actually go away for a week. And during that time, you would be actually left behind with your mom and your siblings. So in a middle class Indian family, in a typical middle class Indian family, you would actually see that the children, in my time, when I was young, in my time, the children were exposed to a lot of these different parts of the life, and these different parts of the life included focus on the studies, focus on good etiquettes, focus on good moral ethics, and obviously the focus on career, the focus on, I would say, relationships, the focus on health, the focus on food. So, this entire youth, this entire childhood, or this entire journey of a person in India, when he or she is born, to the point of time he is still living with his parents, he or she is living with her parents, we see that this person is exposed to a lot of these, I would say, some rules and some moral rules, some things which actually help that person become smarter, and some things which actually help that person really have good relationships with the outside world. So I think when Ram was growing up, he was actually exposed to all these rules and moral rules and everything. And when you talk about yoga, so in India is the country where the yoga was born, and yoga has, we all know that yoga was actually written, the science of yoga was written by somebody called Rishi Patanjali. And Rishi Patanjali actually wrote 8 sutras of yoga. And out of these 8 sutras, the first sutra, so out of these 8 different, I would say the steps to actually becoming a yogi, the first 2 steps were yam and niyam. I will come to what yam and niyam, what yam and niyam are. But at this point of time, just imagine that when a person is born in a typical Indian middle class family, till the point of time he is growing up, his family, his parents, his teachers, his colleagues, they actually collectively teach this young person the yam and the niyams of life. So, in our country, the beauty about our country is that the 8 sutras of yoga, which Rishi Patanjali wrote, the first 2 are actually inculcated in us, which are actually the most important ones, which are important because any journey of a yogi begins with yam and niyam. So there are sets of 5 yams and there are sets of 5 niyams. Yam are more internal. Yam are more to do with your practices, how do you actually lead a life internally. And niyams are more moral, the external ones, how do you deal with the external world? What are those rules that define your relationship with the external world? So this story about Ram is about a youth who never thought that this person, he would become a yogi. But when he was actually born in this beautiful Indian household, his parents, his siblings, and the people around him, they actually put him on that path of becoming a yogi by actually making him understand what yams and niyams are. So this story about Ram, I'll come back to it at the end of my 3rd story, but this is a very important story because this story starts with the most important 2 sutras of yoga, which are yam and niyam. My 2nd story is actually about Prasoon, which is about me, and this story is about food. So my relationship with food, I was again, I was like any other, like Ram, in my story, I was also born in a middle class family. And my relationship with food actually started beginning when I was young. My mom was a school teacher and she used to go to school, and it was me and my elder sister. We used to learn a lot of cooking from my mom, and we used to cook actually at home since starting very, very early age. And as we were growing, in our life, we started realizing that the beauty of the Indian food doesn't lie in the fact that it is just tasty. The entire recipes that you would find across any part of the country. So most of you guys are based out of Bangalore. A lot of you guys are based out of Bangalore. And I'm very proud to say that every part in the country, including Bangalore, including Udaipur, including New Delhi, including Jammu Kashmir, including including the West Bengal, every part of the country has its own specialty cuisine, which were not invented 10 or 20 years back. They were invented thousands of years back. So as a person, when I was growing up, as a youth, when I was growing up, like Ram, I was also exposed to the science of food, this ancient science of food, which actually was born in India. which was born in India thousands of years back, but it was passed on from generations to generations in our households. So this is the second beauty of an Indian household, where the household doesn't just enable a person to take on to the journey of yogi by actually making that person understand the yams and niyams, but for me, in my case, I was also exposed to the science of food, this beautiful Indian science of food. I understood why when somebody has cold, why the mother actually puts that cloth of cold water on his head. I was able to understand why when we have cough and cold, our mother says that take ginger water. So there are a lot of these other stuff also that comes along with the food, the sciences of food in India. And I was actually fortunate to get exposed to all these food sciences because of my mother. She was actually working, and she used to actually teach us, because she always wanted that every person in our household should understand how to cook. And thankfully today, I'm fortunate that I'm proud to say that I can actually cook most of the food that an Indian household is kind of used to eating. So this is the second story. Obviously both these stories have a similar background. These stories are about two people. First was about Ram. Ram was born in a typical Indian household, and he was exposed to the first two sutras of Patanjali's 8 sutras of yoga. So he actually embarked on the journey of becoming a yogi. The second story was about Prasoon, who was actually taught the beautiful food sciences of India, courtesy his mother, who has actually learned this entire food sciences from her mother, her grandmother. And now I'm going to talk about a third story, which is about a person who's a yogi. And I would call that person Vivekanand. So the third story is about Vivekanand. I'm proud to say that I was born in a country which is the land of Vivekanand. Today we are celebrating the International Youth Day. And throughout his entire life, Vivekanand was known as the icon for the youth. Why? What was so special about Vivekanand? So Vivekanand, like most of us, was born in a typical Indian household. He grew up learning the yams and niyams of life. But what was so special about Vivekanand that basically made him the youth icon of his own times, and till today also he remains a youth icon. So the most special part about Vivekanand was that when he was young, he embarked the journey of a yogi because of his family. But he continued the journey of yogi from the yam niyam. He went on to understand the science of asanas. He went on to understand the science of pranayam. He went on to understand the science of pratyahar. He went on to understand the science of dharana. He went on to understand the science of dhyan. He went on to understand the science of samadhi. So all these, right, starting from yam niyam to asana to pranayam to pratyahar to dharana to dhyan to samadhi, these are actually 8 sutras of Patanjali. And fortunately, I was born in the land, I was born in the era where we celebrate the International Youth Day, courtesy a person called Vivekanand, who was the biggest yogi of our century. He is one of those guys. He is one of those very few guys. So most of us, we embark the journey of becoming a yogi, but when we actually get out of our households, we stop that journey. We don't proceed beyond yam niyam, and most of us don't proceed, and a lot of us don't proceed beyond yam niyam, asana, and pranayam. But very few of us get this opportunity to actually proceed beyond yam niyam, asana, and pranayam. After these 4 first sutras, there are another 4 sutras, and once you are able to actually understand and learn about these 8 sutras, you become a yogi. So my third story was about Vivekanand. Vivekanand was this person, this youth, who actually, was born in a family, in a typical family, and he actually went on to become the youth icon. So my 3 stories about Ram, Prasoon, and Vivekanand, why I chose to actually narrate these 3 stories. When you actually combine these 3 stories, this is what my journey is today. So when I wanted to introduce myself, I didn't know how to introduce myself, because today I'm not a Prasoon Gupta. Today I'm not a Ram, because I was born as Ram, and I was probably For the first 15 years of my life, I was living with my parents, and I was learning the yum yum. During that time, I was also learning, the sciences of food in India. So I was also Prasoon. But today, when I'm talking to you, I'm actually trying to become Vivekanand. Obviously, it might take me another 50 years or 100 years or 200 years. Maybe in this lifetime, I'm not able to really learn to the level where Vivekanand was able to learn. But because he remains my icon, when you combine these three stories, this is the journey of my current life. When I'm talking to you today, I can actually proudly tell you that I was so excited when Anandi ma'am came to me and said that I have to share my story with all of you on this International Youth Day, because I believe in Patanjali's 8 Yoga Sutras, and one person whom I know in my lifetime who has been able to understand and implement those 8 sutras in his life and has been able to talk about it, has been able to share that with the world, is Vivekananda, which is our icon. And I am actually, my journey today is actually the journey which probably Vivekananda has been talking or teaching all of us. And I'm trying to basically understand and, what this journey to becoming yogi is. So I think this is what my story is. Today, I'm the co-founder of a company called Satviko. At Satviko, we have combined very beautifully yoga with food. We believe that this is a journey that we have had. We have got a beautiful response from people across the globe. What we do is we have actually understood that the problems in the world today, not just the health problems, but a lot of these spiritual problems, a lot of these mind-related problems, can only be solved by combining yoga and food. So based on my learning of being a yogi through my family, by doing the first 2 sutras, by understanding those 2 sutras, and beyond that, my journey of understanding Vivekananda, apart from my learning which I got from my mother about the food sciences of India, today I'm actually combining all these knowledge to create the most delicious and the healthiest foods that people can actually consume across the world. And idea is to basically create a world where people are living a very healthy and wholesome life, for which they don't have to really go out and look for solutions which are beyond their own understanding, because yoga is something which people in the world today are now understanding. And I think what we have been able to really do beautifully is combine food with yoga. So this is my journey, and happy to take on any questions that you have about my journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Prasoon, for the enlightening speech. I would now like to request Rotarian Keshika to moderate the question answer session.
Yeah, it is Keshini Sakkar. She is our Director, Community Services. Thank you, Keshini, for joining.
Yeah, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to this session, and thank you, Anandi, as well. Thank you, Mr. Prasoon. You've taken us through some very essential aspects, I think, of our daily life that I must say that probably I also overlook sometimes in terms of the food that we eat and how each of it has an effect on our body in a certain way, and how we are shaped by it and what's around us and what we learn through our life. So I would just open the floor up now for any questions that anybody would have that Mr. Prasoon could answer and help us with.
Yeah, I'm also happy to answer any questions related to yoga or food or anything that you would like to share about yourself, your journey towards that journey of becoming yogi. So happy to have a chat on that.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Prasoon. So anybody would like to share, they definitely can unmute themselves and go ahead and share right now.
Hi, Prasoon. This is Rotarian Shalini from eClub eConnect. I have a question. I do yoga in the morning with stretches and Surya Namaskar, but I have a knee problem. So I have been told to limit what kind of a yoga I do, because I cannot fold my knees. I have, a good amount of knee issues. They start paining. So what do you advise? What should we do?
So Shalini, I think yoga is not just about doing an asana. So there is a very important statement that you would read in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It is about stability and comfort. So Rishi Patanjali says that in any asana or in any mudra or in any pose, if you are not stable and you are not comfortable, then you are actually doing harm to your body. So so I don't know if you have a trainer or not, you have a yoga guru or not, but what you should try to do, you should try to basically experiment with different poses, these asanas, and maybe figure out what works best for you. Because when somebody comes and tells you that, if you have a knee pain, take this asana, I think these are not true, because anatomically, most of us are same, every human being has a very similar anatomy, 99.99%. But physiologically, we are all different, Most of us probably have a very different journey of becoming a yogi. So probably when I started yoga, I had some issue. I had some issue of stress, depression, and all that stuff. But when I started gradually doing yoga, my original issues went off, and I actually got strength to even advance towards a much higher forms of yoga. So when you actually start getting comfortable into some poses, you would gradually realize that the next pose to that becomes easier for you. So the best thing would be that if you don't have a Guruji, if you don't have a trainer, then probably just look on the internet, try a few poses, just hold on into those poses. You're actually helping yourself. Once you are able to get into a comfortable position, try something else and just keep trying. This is an endless journey. There is no end to it. You'll just keep improving and becoming better and better.
Thank you so much. I'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you for your question, Shalini, and thank you for that wonderful answer that we all can take something from.
Can I ask a question, Keshini?
Please go ahead, Gitanjali.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shun. It's wonderful to hear about your journey. What I'm, it's very interesting. Why our traditional food, what we have been taking or, preparing, suddenly got this name superfoods? Why? This is what we have been consuming, we have been preparing. So I see that you are marketing it as superfoods. Any reason? What is the connection?
So I'll give you the right answer to that. So I am actually a certified nutrition. I've done some nutrition courses from a lot of these prestigious American universities. Plus, I've also read a lot about yogic nutrition. Now we have to understand the fact that the nutrition in India, the yogic nutrition, goes back almost 10,000 years. This science was invented probably 10,000 years back by people, and obviously it has evolved over a period of time. The nutrition that we know today, the nutrition that we actually see on the internet, that we actually hear from our colleagues, is the nutrition science that was invented only over the last 70 years, which was probably most of the Western nutrition science. So if you actually go into the Western nutrition science, and you will realize that 20 years back, these people were blaming fat, that fat is not good. But today they have accepted that fat is a very important part of your body, because people are now lagging all the fat soluble vitamins. And apart from that, there are other things which are associated with the fat, and it has become very important now, a part of our routine. When you actually go deeper into the food sciences, you will realize that there are so many of these things which were already existing in our cuisines, like the ghee, the jowar, the bajra, the millets, the makhana and everything. Probably the modern science has not been able to understand most of these foods yet. So if we call them as just healthy food, it will be like a demeanor to them. So that's why it's better we call them superfoods, because most of the super things, when we say, do we understand supernatural powers? No, we don't. So most of the foods that people don't understand, but they're believed to have some benefits based on the ancient food sciences, we actually call them superfoods. This is how probably the cuisine in India has defined superfoods. While there will be different meanings that you would find across different parts of the world, but you would realize that the basic context remains same. The modern science, the foods where the modern science has not been able to give a logic, why tulsi is so good, why turmeric is so good, they actually call that food as superfood. So that's why we call our foods as superfoods.
Thank you. One more thing I wanted to know, like you said, you are also exporting it now that we have a good representation from Ghana. Do you, and Ghana has got a lot of Indian population there. So are you also exporting to Ghana?
No. So our majority market primarily lies in the US, apart from India. The reason being that probably, as I was talking about the nutritional sciences, a lot of the countries like India, Ghana, we are actually very close-knit families, it's the mom who would actually decide what the family has to eat. And most of the people, they have these traditional cuisines, which are a part of our food, which are a part of our meals. In the US and in most of the developed nations, that is not the case. Probably these nations they don't have that heritage of food. So that's why probably for us, it became more sense, and, we were able to really get a good customer base in the US and Canada and other countries. So I think we have actually limited ourselves to those countries, and probably at some time in the future, we might want to explore other countries as well.
May I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please, sir.
Yes, our speaker has given us, Prasoon has given us a very wonderful story, and he happens to be my neighbor in my city. I'm from Jaipur.
Oh.
I live in Ghana more than 20 years now. I'm more of African than Indian now. I'm based here for business. I don't do much yoga, but I do a little in the morning just to warm up myself. But I'm a golfer. I play golf for exercise. A current situation now, people are talking a lot about organic and non-organic food. A wonderful thing enough here in Africa and India, or I will say Asia, the traditions are almost the same. I lived here, I understood the ground realities, the family system. When we talk of, the way they are, it's more of like India. So what is grown here is, until now, I will say more than 50% people consume organic food. How do we classify it? What is organic? What is non-organic? Can you please educate us on that?
So I think for this, we will have to go and ask the governments, because there are two types of food. One is the certified organic, and rest is what is naturally available. So when you talk about certified organic, I think every country has its own norms. How do they label a product as certified organic? But I think, I'll give you an example, sir. You are from Jaipur. So
yes,
in our region, during the winters, the gur and bajra is a staple food. You would actually create that, cook that small roti of bajra, and you would actually put ghee and gur on top of it. Now, what can actually go wrong with bajra? It has been locally grown. There is not any genetically modified seeds or anything that you would have used. Most of the time, these crops are not grown industrially. What can go wrong with gur? Gur is primarily locally sourced, because gur cannot transport from to longer distances because it's sensitive to heat. Similar is the case of ghee. Most of the time, the ghee that we get in smaller cities, I'm not talking about cities like Delhi, we have these goshalas which are opened for seva purpose, for the helping purpose. And most of the ghee that you get in these regions comes from this goshalas or these seva kendras. Now, if I go to the government and I tell them, look, they have all been sourced naturally. There is no genetically modified stuff that we have used. There is nothing like that. But government will tell me, Prasoon, we have our own norms. Like, if you want to really label your bajra as organic, then the field has to be left as it is for the last 3 years, and XYZ and whatever. Now, for a common person, for a brand to basically really sell a product at a price point which people can actually afford to eat and consume daily, probably complying to the government norms of becoming certified organic may not really do the justice. So certified organic is probably the best, but we have better options available, which probably are not certified, which are local, which are non-genetically modified, and the source of most of these things. So that's why I think consuming better, if not the best, is always the best option. I can only say that, sir.
Thank you. Well understood. It seems it's the government of each and every country decide what is the level of organic and non-organic. Thanks a lot for answering.
I request International Services Director District to speak few words. S.N. Murthy sir or
Arvind,
Deshpande. Yeah,
let the question answer session be over, please.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that answer, Mr. Prasoon. I think a few things that came to my mind from the superfood that you spoke about was how we see now the prices of those also increasing and rising because of the way they are sort of branded. You know, like my mom, she was just picking up makhanas today, and she said 150 rupees for this packet, which is half filled with air, you know, and only a few makhana pieces. So we see that branding is taking it to another level.
Yeah, Keshri, so that's where the consciousness has to grow. The problem, what has happened is that some superfoods have been labeled as famous and a lot of them are not famous. So what happens is we are all chasing the famous stuff. And I think that's why we chose not to be in India. I mean, not to focus on India, because I think the Indian food sciences make more relevance in the West, because in India, you know, we have so many locally grown superfoods that we really don't need to chase makhana. There are enough superfoods that you would find in your region that you can actually go and procure locally and enjoy them. So why not do that?
Yes, it's so true. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Keshmi. I think
Okay, I had this question.
this
am I
one
allowed to ask?
because we are running out of time.
Okay, sure.
Maybe you can still leave your question in the chat box, or you can, connect with Anandi Madam for your questions.
So Anandi, I've shared my email ID
Thank
just
you.
in case anybody has a question, they can email me, and happy to respond to them.
Yeah, we'll help you to reach you to Prasoon, and he can answer your questions.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding. So I would now like to request the International Service Director of our District 3190, Rotarian A.C.N. Murthy, to say a few words.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon and good evening to everyone. First of all, let me congratulate all the clubs who have come together to celebrate this International Youth Day today on this occasion. I have Rotary Abilities, which has taken the lead. Congratulations to Arvind and my good friend Rotarian Anandi. And we have Abhigere Yelahanka and eConnect and our friend Sarvan from Rotary Club of Obuasi. I think it's a wonderful occasion that so many clubs have come together and we are able to extend our friendship across the globe for people who are a few thousand miles away. Congratulations to all of you. I think Prasoon's talk was wonderful. What I felt is that I think we gave him less time for the amount of knowledge he has got and the amount of, I would say, coverage that he had to do. The time that was given to him, I think, was very, very restricted. For example, just talking about yoga, according to Patanjali, there are 8 limbs of yoga. Apart from Yam and Niyam, you have got, Pratyahara, you have got Samadhi, you have got Asana, and then whatnot. I think he could not even have enough time to just cover 2 aspects of yoga. And then he had to also touch base about food, which happened to be the very favorite subject for many of you. And but nevertheless, I think he did an excellent job with the limited resources of time available, tried to cover food and then also a little bit about yoga and trying to connect it in the form of beautiful stories. Only thing what I found missing in this entire program is I don't see so many youths participating in this program. It was supposed to be Youth Day, and we are supposed to celebrate youth icon Vivekananda's birthday today. But on the event here, there are less road tractors and less youth, as I see here. I think that is something which we should try to take care during the subsequent days. I don't want to go too much into talking of the subject today because it's already been fairly covered. But as a Rotarian, I have to always add one small, piece of information from my side. When we talk of all these things which are related to health and well-being, usually health comes from being happy, leading a happy and satisfied life. We say in getting that happiness in our body, there are 4 chemicals which are responsible for happiness in the body. The first one is called as dopamine. Many of you may be aware of it. This comes when we try to achieve something in life. It could be professional, it could be personal. You do well in your exams, you get a promotion, you do a job successfully, the body goes through a feeling of happiness. Then a chemical called dopamine gets produced in the body, which is responsible for this happiness. Then the second one is called oxytocin. This, comes when you have the feeling of love and then that warmth with which you get when you have interaction with another person whom you like. For example, a child goes and then hugs the mother. That hugging feeling gives a kind of happiness. And then this oxytocin gets produced in the body. You may say, why am I talking about all these chemicals and then whatnot when we are talking about wellness and health? I'll come to that a little later. Then there is a third chemical which is called as endorphin. This gets created in the body when we do things like yoga, when we do exercises. For example, when you go for a good morning walk in a very pleasant weather, you feel very happy. The body then produces endorphins. Similarly, like what Prasoon was mentioning, you do certain asanas, certain exercises in yoga, the body goes through a feeling of happiness. This is because the body produces a chemical called as endorphin. Now comes the fourth factor. This is called as serotonin. When you try to do some service to someone, when you do something good for somebody else, and you go through a sense of happiness. For example, you feed a poor person, and when you find that happiness on the face of the poor person, you go through some happiness within yourself. You try to do something which is helpful to the community. Your entire system experiences a sense of happiness because of the service or a little bit of sacrifice which you have done. This is the one where the body produces this chemical called as serotonin. So my suggestion and request to all of these people on this call today here is, for us to be complete in terms of happiness and well-being, we need all of these 4. We need good exercise. We need a life filled with love. We need achievements in our personal life, in our professional life. But last but not the least, we also need to be service-minded. That is what Rotary stands for. I think if we can balance all the 4, then our body and our mind will be in unison. Yoga, if you go by the Sanskrit name, yoga actually means it is unification. It is a form of joining. When you say joining or unification, it is actually a process where you go and then meet your own self-realization. This process can happen when all these chemicals which I told you are balanced in our body, and then it is in unison. And I'm sure with these few inputs which you got from Prasoon, and all the discussion what we have had, if we can inculcate some of these things in our day-to-day life, we will be much better in terms of health, both physical and then mental, and we will be able to achieve much better things in life. Thank you very much. I don't want to go much into the details of the topic. As I said, Prasoon himself got less time. I don't want to take away more time of yours in this call. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Once again, congratulations to all the club presidents, and particularly to my good friend Rotarian Shankar Shastri, who has been doing a fantastic job as the committee chairperson for International Days. I look forward to more programs from you, Shankar, like this. It's been a wonderful occasion today. Let's have more such occasions in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rotarian ACN Murthy, for your wonderful words. I would now like to invite our International Service Director, Rotarian Dr. Milind Deshpande, to give the closing remarks.
Good evening to all the Rotarians and Rotractors from India, and good morning to every Rotarian and Rotractor from Ghana. Respected Chief Guest and all the dignitaries present, a very warm good evening from our end. My co-director has already covered all the points which I wanted to cover myself. But let me be touching just very few points, and which I thought I can add on to it. It was surprising to me, a small thought that can culminate into a great event like this. Rotarian Shankar and his team, they have planned this and executed this event with perfection. And thank you, Shankar, for all the hard work you have done to bring this program to such a level. All the clubs from Ghana and India deserve a big round of applause for their commitment and participation. We are looking forward to having you as sister clubs in our district in future. Topic of food and yoga and youth piqued my interest in today's meeting. This topic and the renowned speaker like Mr. Prasoon Gupta was the best combination to learn and enjoy. When we learn from the expert, we get motivated to push our boundaries. Your 3 stories were powerful, and 8 steps to become a yogi were enlightening. Your answers to questions asked by the audience were precise and perfect. Hats off to you. It shows the depth of your knowledge, and we would really love to hear from you in future also. I'm sure that we will be having many more fruitful exchanges with clubs of Ghana, and maybe it will culminate into projects, cultural exchange, youth exchange, and what all the other things, whatever we can think. And sister club relations we are going to sign on Sunday. That is the first step towards it. Having thoroughly enjoyed today's meeting, I am very excited for this further interaction with our compatriots from the Ghana. I thank everyone for bringing this great energy to this meeting and make it a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Dr. Milind Deshpande. I would now like to invite our DRCC, Rotarian Mahesh Iyer, to make a few announcements.
Anandi madam, you please go ahead. He is driving, he won't be able to join.
All right, sure, sir. Okay, thank you. So we are coming to the close of this program. This is a wonderful program. So to close this program, I would like to invite President Rotarian Sarvan Kumar of Rotary Club of Obuasi to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, PP. Thanks for the opportunity to taking me to end of the meeting. We had a wonderful speaker today, our chief guest and speaker, Prasoon Gupta. It's been so great we are very grateful rather to have you today on this platform and giving your time and your experience sharing with us about food and nutrition and yoga. We suppose it should be favorite to all youths to take up in life. We are all, I will say, I was born in the same middle class family. We have all gone through the same process of life, which I wonder all of us we know. Thanks to our ISD, Asian Murthy, for wonderful thoughts he shared, Dr. Milind, all RPs from various clubs of Bangalore, Abilities, Economic, some to mention, Yahalanka, Abigiri, and our Rotaract Club, Obuasi, CP Eben, our IPPs, PPs, thank you very much for taking your times to getting through this meeting and joining us today. It's been wonderful. Before I end my note, I will share here our Rotary mantra, which is become my favorite of late. I love to share with each and every meeting we have. It's all about service. As Asian Murthy said, service is what is Rotary mantra. So service is the rent we pay to live in this world. That is the Rotary mantra we share. Indeed, Rotary is good. Rotary is all about service, fellowship, servicing the communities, and above all, serving the people around you, the needy. Thank you very much. And I would like to say, please share a toast to all the Rotarians around the globe, wherever they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rotarian Sarvan Kumar. We now have come to the end of the program, and thank you everyone for being here with us and sharing this amazing event for the International Youth Day. We'll close with the national anthems of both India and Ghana. I request everyone to rise for the national anthem, please.
Who is playing the national
Yeah,
anthem?
I'm
Yeah.
1 second. I'm just
Yeah.
trying 1 second.
Okay.
Anidhi, should I play the Ghana one first?
You could go ahead, Gitanjali. Yeah.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जनगण
मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Arvind.
Thank you for the Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a
Thanks a lot.
Thank
It was a
you,
wonderful
everyone.
meeting.
It was a great meeting.
Thank you.
Great meeting. Everything went very well.
yeah.